stop
Good morning. Body gang CBG4 and Ashia. On the way to the doctor.
So you guys know I have sickle cell and mommy is pregnant, and so I have to do a spleen ultrasound today. Just kind of get some images of my spleen, see if it is, enlarged. Because that could cause a lot of problems for me later down the line when it comes time for labor. So we're trying to be proactive versus reactive with this pregnancy. With Cairo, he came 3 weeks early. Emergency C-section. I had the worst crisis of my life. So basically we're just kind of taking all the steps we can this pregnancy just to be proactive versus reactive, because I feel like with Cairo we were just kind of going.
It was new to us, so I think that we were just going with the flow and stuff like that.
And I think with the doctors too, because I didn't have a hematologist. I wasn't seeing one regularly, which I know I should, but that's another story for another day.
Things happen.
But my gynecologist put together a great team of doctors actually. But I think that because of the type of sickle cell that I have, they didn't expect me to, they were like, oh, we'll be fine. We'll just keep an eye out on things. We'll be okay. And then that third trimester hit, and it was like hospital visit after hospital visit after hospital visit. So, and then the big crisis towards the end, and just seems like the emergency room didn't give two craps that a pregnant woman was, had a crisis, or it was like they just didn't know what to do. I went to the emergency room 3 days in a row. 3 days in a row, in the worst pain I've ever had in my life, the worst crisis. So I went to the emergency room 3 times, and each time their main concern was the baby. And it's like, he's fine. Like, every day y'all don't have to check him. He's fine. I'm not in labor. And then they would like discharge me and send me home, but no one had any concern, any care that mama was having a crisis. And then like my hematologist was telling me like that my hemoglobin was falling dangerously low really fast. Have you got some chapstick? Because this ain't gonna work. This top lip is like, that's a word, that's better. That's just so much better. But okay. So that first pregnancy, I'd go to the hospital. They were focused on the baby, and after they see that baby's doing fine, it's like, okay, mom, you're all right. It's like, I know I wasn't in labor. I tried to tell y'all I'm not in labor. My hematologist, she scheduled infusion treatments that Saturday. So, mind you, I had the crisis Wednesday. My infusion treatments were scheduled for Saturday. So, that Friday night, guys, I'm in the worst pain. Like, literally, George has to help me carry me to the bathroom type of situation. Like, it was terrible. We go back to the emergency room again, and I tell them, I say, hey, it's not the baby. I'm having a sickle cell crisis. Do not send me to maternity. Help me. So they're like, all right. I'm sitting there in like excruciating pain, and it's this lady in there, and I know she meant well, but oh my God. So she's like, oh my God, why do they have you sitting here in labor? And I'm like, no ma'am, I'm not in labor. I'm having a sickle cell crisis. I'm okay. Like, I'm not in labor. 10-15 minutes pass by, and she's like, I just cannot believe how they're treating you. I mean, a pregnant woman in labor. And I'm just like, lady, I'm not in labor. She's like, oh my God, I remember that pain. And I'm like, no, you don't. Leave me alone. So she gets up. She goes and tells like the people at the front desk. She's like fussing at them. Like, how dare you have this pregnant woman in labor? You got her sitting out here. So they were like, ma'am, I'm sorry, I know you didn't want to go to maternity, but we're gonna have to send you to maternity just to make sure everything with the baby checks out. So I'm pissed. So we go to maternity. We spend like an hour and a half in maternity. They're monitoring the baby. They're like, yeah, you're not in labor, the baby. So I'm like, I know. No, I'm not in labor. I'm having a sickle cell crisis. So finally, get back to the emergency. They finally called me back. I didn't have to wait. Go back to the emergency, and all they do is give me pain meds, so I fall asleep. I think I was on morphine, and I fall asleep. I don't know how long I was asleep, but I woke up, and this one right here pissed. And I was like, you ready to go? And he's staring me down like, let's go. And because he had to work at 6 in the morning, and it was already like 3. We leave, and I get discharged. We go home, and then I come back for my appointment at 10 o'clock for my infusion treatment. So we get to the infusion treatments, and I literally don't remember much from being there. I mean, I thought we were there. I thought we had just got there, but my mom was like, we were there for hours, and my temperature kept rising. Like, my breathing was labored. It just looked really off. So they decided to, they didn't tell me much, but they were like, we're gonna send you to maternity. So I'm like, what's going on? So I get to maternity, and it's really weird. The nurses are whispering. I don't know much of what's going on. I go to sleep, and I wake back up, and when I woke up, I had an oxygen mask on my face. And so I'm like, Mama, who put this here? Like, what's going on? And my mom's like, Ashley, you're having trouble breathing. Looks like you're struggling, like just looking at you. So my mom looks concerned, but I still wasn't present. I feel like, whatever was going on with me, I just wasn't there. The nurse, they were just doing a lot of whispering, and then they finally was like, did you have a birth plan? And y'all, I took 3 months to perfect this birth plan. Didn't even have it with me because I wasn't planning on giving birth for 3 more weeks. And yeah, I have a birth plan, but now I'm trying to remember everything that's on my birth plan. So I'm like, yeah, I want you to keep the placenta, attached until the placenta stops beating. Just trying to think of everything I could think of. My mom, I want her to be there, blah, blah. And so, in the back of my mind, I'm like, birth plan? What are they talking about? So finally, the doctor on duty comes in, and she's like, you're not breathing properly. You're losing oxygen. Your hemoglobin's falling, blah, blah, blah. We gotta take this baby right now. Right now. So I'm like, what? What? You gotta take the baby? Did you miss it again, Papa?
Jesus.
I missed this exit twice. So doctor comes in, she says we gotta take the baby right now. George had just got to her, he literally just got off work and had probably only been there 5 minutes, and he's looking like, huh? We're gonna take the baby now. So they're like, yeah, we gotta give you general anesthesia, no one can be back there with you. So now I'm worried. This was the first time that whole day where I was worried. What do you mean nobody can be back there with me? So I'm just praying, oh my God, hopefully I make it out of this. My mom, she looked so worried, and she just kept saying, I can't go back there with her. I can't go back. And they were like, no. So Georgie was able to go back, but he couldn't of course be in the room, but he could go back because somebody had to be back there with me. So when they, when the baby comes out, they hand the baby off. But so they were like, yeah, it's gonna be an hour, blah, blah, blah. They take me back, and I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be my last time seeing Georgie. So I'm like, babe, give me a kiss. Wheeling me back, and they're like, give her a kiss. And then I'm just panicking, oh my God, am I gonna meet my baby? Am I gonna see him? Is he gonna be all right? Just, worried. And they put the little mask on my face, the oxygen mask, or whatever it's called when they, put you to sleep, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I was out. And then I woke up to the most precious sight in the world. He was holding our baby boo. I was it was a little blurry, but I could still see, his figure. I see there's a baby. So I'm like, all right, I made it, y'all. I'm alive. Mama made it. Turns around. He has the biggest smile on his face. He's taking pictures, and then he turns around, he sees I'm awake, and he goes, Mama, look at our boy, and just plops the baby right on my chest. And I'm that was the happiest moment ever. But yeah, so that was birth with Kai. So hopefully this one we can just eliminate all of that. Hopefully, I'm just trying to stay afloat. So they want to make sure my spleen is not enlarged, because then it will not be serving its purpose, especially closer to delivery.
Did you explain what's the spleen?
Good question, babe. Thank you. So the spleen is supposed to help fight off infections and infections, and I can't even think right now. It's so early. Infections, and it's supposed to like help your immune system or whatever. And so with an enlarged spleen, it'll do the negative effect. If it's enlarged, first of all, it'll suck up, you know, more blood than it should, and so my blood probably won't be building good red sickle cells fast enough. And then the spleen will basically attack my immune system if it's enlarged. So we don't want that to happen, okay? So hopefully all this goes well. Hopefully they can see it. I'm pretty big, I would think. Then I really don't want to go in this hospital with all this COVID-19 stuff. I don't even have a mask.
The party are going to come to the car and start to hit the staff to sign in and put a mask on if you ain't got one.
We'll see. I hope they give me one. Nah, I couldn't eat yet. I'm ready to eat. We are ready to eat.
I'm starving too.
Papa, he missed his exit twice. He's half asleep. He's so tired. It's too early. And we were up late last night, so.
Yeah, it was up to like what, 3?
3 in the morning. I was not ready to get up. Yeah, it's right there. And so since with all this COVID-19 stuff, he can't come in with me.
Yep, can be in the. That sucks. You might have the baby wave out me.
No, we're not doing that. They're gonna check your temperature because we're not doing that. I can't have my baby by myself. It's scary. And Ro, he's so excited last night. He's like, Chase, it's our auntie. My sister's here, and he wanted her to feel the baby kick. So he was trying to wake the baby up. Lex would be like, hey, Chasey. He'll go, no, his name is Chase Amir. I'm like, that's right. That's our baby. All right, so looks like we have arrived. And the front, I think, is over there. You could drop me off at the front because I gotta figure out where I gotta go. Yeah, lady, go.
Okay, where do I go?
Keep going around this way. Dang, ain't nobody here.
Is that where you go?
Yeah, that entrance right there. Alright guys, I'm here, so I'm about to run in and make this happen. So, see you.